So far, we've given you 16 vital boxes to check off to become a successful influencer. But wait, there's more! Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And we're in the midst of a series based upon sort of an article that I read about different skills that you need to possess before you're age 30. One of them was grilling, one of them was having a signature dish that you can cook. I kind of figured that for this channel it might be prudent to make a list of vital skills to possess if you want to be a 5%er. So far we've given you 16 of them. We've got about 12 more to go. We're going to do 4 more today. So let's get right to it. Vital skill number 17. You got to know how to sell. If you want to be an influencer, you have to be able to get someone to become happily involved with your product or service or concept or idea, whatever we're talking about here. You have to be a salesperson. And very simply, being a salesperson means taking a person from point A to point B by asking a series of logical questions where the answer is always yes. So you ask a question, you take a person step by step by step, you get them to agree with you at each individual step of the way, and before you know it, they've traveled quite a far distance by the number of steps that you've given them and that they have agreed to. So what you're looking for is to get some small agreements. And one of the skills that would be prudent to possess is the ability to ask questions where the answer is always yes. And if you take enough time and practice it, you can do that, can't you? Does that make sense? You see where I'm coming from? It takes practice. It takes practice to be a good salesperson. So when you're doing that, make small little baby steps. Small steps, one small step at a time. Get the person to agree with you. Get them to say yes, 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 yes. And then when you ask the big question at the end, there's only one answer they can logically give you, and that is yes, because they've agreed with everything that you've said. If you want, I have a series on sales that you'll find in the description box below. I recommend that you take a look at it. It's a number of different videos. I'm trying to make sales sound very simple. It isn't. It takes some practice. It takes some drill practice and rehearsal to do it so that you can become very skilled in that art. But if you want to be one of the top 5%ers, on this planet, you must be able to sell somebody your ideas and get them to agree with you. Am I making sense on that? Am I right on that? Let's go to the next one. Next one is you have to know how to be grateful. Okay? When you have your quiet thinking time, and I do mine in the morning, I would recommend that that's probably the best time to do it. Always, the first thing you do is you start off by saying the things that you are grateful for. And what that does is it sends the vibe out into the universe, and then the universal partner says, here's a grateful person. I would like to help he or she, help them a little bit more because they are grateful. What you're doing is you're getting that vibe out there. You're opening the corridor. Not only that, but when you are grateful for something, we're talking about little things. All right? I'm grateful for the fact that it's a nice day outside. I'm grateful for the fact that I have health insurance, that I have life insurance, that I have my son Eli. That's your number one at my list, by the way. I'm grateful that I continuously get a paycheck. You follow what I'm saying? Things that you typically take for granted, stop and think about them and be grateful for them and get your mind working in that direction. And when you're able to do that, you're able to enlist the aid of the universal partner on a more successful level. I always start off by saying 20 different things that I am grateful for every single day. That could be the fact that I love orange juice with pulp in it. All right? I mean, silly things. I'm grateful for the fact that I have electricity, that I'm not sitting here in the dark. I'm grateful for the fact that there's the technology that gives me these views. There are so many things in life to be grateful for. But what do you focus on mostly? You focus on all the negativity. You take those things for granted, and when you do that, you're not seeing the things that you already have. The fact that you're above ground can be one right off the get-go. So get a list of 20 different things. Think of the list, count them out. It's not even you have to make a list. It's easy. Come up with 20 different things that you're grateful at least every single morning and get yourself started moving in a positive direction. Skill number 19. Know how to tell a good story. One of the things that you will learn is that facts tell and stories sell. Facts tell and stories sell. People don't remember facts, but if you tell a good story, they will remember the story. Not only that, but if you tell it in an amusing way, in an entertaining way, they're going to want to repeat the story. Let me give you an example. All right, this is something that I found funny. When I was in sales, went into a house, and I always wanted to get my client. We talked about the warm-up. That was one of the vital skills you want to have, where you get your client to teach you something, or you get the person you're communicating with to teach you something. You want to build a rapport. You want to create a bond. So I'm in the house with a woman and her husband, and we come in, and I say, well, you have a lovely house, you know, I say, I see that she has like a new stove, a new range. And I said, wow, that's pretty fancy. That does a lot of things. And she said, not only does it do a lot of things, but it's unbelievably sturdy. Let me show you. Okay? And then she went over to the stove, she opened the door, and then she got up and she said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I want you to do this. Go stand on the door of the oven. I said, I'm not going to do this. She said, never mind, I'll do it. So she went and she stood on the door of the oven. And I said, wow, that thing is strong, isn't it? She goes, that's why I got it. It comes with a guarantee. I'm in the business of cooking. I need something strong. I need something dependable. This was the product I got. So she taught me about the stove. But let's think a little bit deeper. She got up and she stood on the door of her stove. Do you think that the salesperson, when he was selling that lady that stove, opened the door and stood on the stove? You can bet your bottom dollar he did exactly, or she did exactly that. Told a story, showed her, and then she couldn't wait to repeat it to somebody else that she hardly knew at all. Facts tell, stories sell. Put yourself in a position to tell a good story and practice. Tell the story in the mirror, but have a few stories that you can tell so that people will be amused, people will be entertained, people will want to hang on your every word, and they will retain what it is you're trying to sell them. Okay, number 20. Know how to maintain a productive mindset. This is a critical, vital skill to have. If you want to be a success, just like everybody else, hello, am I telling you about life or what? There's the ups and there's the downs, and just because you're in the 5% group doesn't mean you're not going to have your ups and downs. So how do you overcome those? Very simple. When you're having your quiet thinking time, as an example, and you stop and you visualize and you see yourself accomplishing or achieving or doing the thing that is your burning desire, and you see, and you know you're going to run into failures, and if you don't run into failures, then what you want isn't that worthy. All right, so I mean, there's going to be detours in the road. There's going to be potholes in the road. But you need to overcome those. So how do you keep your mind straight? Because let's be candid. Virtually, once again, the odds are 19 to 1. Only 5% are successful, 95% are not. And the people that are not tend to be, got some bad news for you here, somewhat negative. You want to be a positive person. So that's something, 19 to 1 are kind of difficult odds to overcome. How do you keep yourself positive? Well, we already talked about being grateful. That gets you started. That gets the road to positivity started. But the other thing is seeing yourself accomplishing something and setting it up in small little baby steps so that at the end of the day, you can see some positive progress. But first you have to visualize it. And you have to be able to disregard the outside noise, because you have to remember, for the most part, people are negative. If you want proof of that, if you want to watch the news, they don't say very many good things on the news. They talk about how this one got murdered, how we have this pandemic, how we have that calamity here, that there was a tornado there. What do they talk about? Because people are drawn to negativity. That's the 95% crowd. You want to separate yourself from the 95% crowd. Remember, people in the 95% group think alike, do the same things, get the same results. People in the 5% group think alike, do the same things, get the same results, except their thinking and what they do is different than the 95%ers. So if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, give yourself a red flag, get yourself a heads up. You've got to maintain that positive attitude. How do you keep that positive mindset? By continually seeing yourself accomplishing that burning desire. All right, so today we've gone over 4 more vital skills that the successful influencer possesses. Next time we're going to continue with this. And remember, we always don't ration that passion, we fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.